the guy who thousands and thousands of kids and everybody else will be out to see is our guest right now, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Cody, Peter Rosenberg, and Don LaGreca, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing outstanding. I have to offer a congratulations to you, honeymoon bound. That's exciting. That's the deal. That's the dream. And then I don't think I've ever spoken to this LaGreca.
No.
This is blowing my mind. I've spoken to the other LaGreca often. Older or younger LaGreca?
He's 3.5 years younger than me, and he has nothing but nice things to say about you.
You were the alpha of this.
Yes. And he he loves you. I talked to him last night. He just really thinks you're tremendous, and he's very excited I get a chance to talk to you.
I love that. Busted Open was a lot of help to me in my career. Remains a lot of help. So love that. Share the love with him, please.
So I wanted to start there, Cody. I was thinking it could be cool for people who don't know your story and are not familiar with Cody Rhodes. I'll set it up, and then you finish it if you can. You're at WWE for a long time. You're following in the footsteps of your dad, the legendary Dusty Rhodes. You get to a point in your career in WWE where things just are not what you expected it to be. You're saddled with a character that's not your favorite, and you decide to walk away from the guaranteed safety and money of that job. And I would love for you to tell everybody out there listening in New York who may not know your story what you decided to do and what happened next.
It was unprecedented at the time for anyone to leave WWE. Typically, WWE makes you leave, they fire you. And in my case, I was the one who went walking. And before I ever did that, I was planning on what I would do, because the whole purpose of walking away from that guaranteed money and biggest sports entertainment company on the planet, the whole purpose was to prove that I was better than the place I was on that card. And I had to do that. The only way to do that is walk and not talk. And I had put together a list of hot independent professional wrestlers at the time that I would go out, and that helped mobilize the fan base. I'm going to check every box on this list. That journey would then take me to creating, with two buddies of mine, the very first independent wrestling show that ever had over 10,000 people attend. We were told it couldn't be done. It sold out almost instantly. That spurred being part of the team that brought an alternative wrestling promotion back to cable television, opposite of WWE. And throughout my tenure with AEW, I was the competition, the alternative. Really, all of that, I couldn't envision how I returned, but I did return to WWE at WrestleMania, and since then, it's been a run that only a little 8-year-old me could have possibly dreamed of. Defeating Seth Rollins not once, not twice, but 3 times. Defeating Brock Lesnar twice. Winning the Royal Rumble. And main eventing WrestleMania 39, the most profitable event in the history of our game. I am very lucky, and I am very blessed that I ever bet on myself.
And the confidence that you have in yourself, how much of that comes from your legacy and your dad?
I think sometimes maybe there's a thin line between confidence and maybe ignorance. I think my dad had this ability he was very, very much a motivator consistently, always looking on the bright side of everything, every cloud with a silver lining. And that made things that are impossible or feel impossible or seem impossible, he always looked at them as things that could be achieved. And I think just through the osmosis of him raising me and wonderful parents that I had, both him and my mother, Michelle, it's a little bit of ignorance and a little bit of confidence. It's better not to know all the reasons why it's not going to work. It's better not to know all the curveballs you'll face, and just go at that. And so much of what I'm doing today, I know he'd get a huge kick out of.
Is there a version? So, like, you know, people who watch WWE a lot and understand the product know that, you know, you have certain kinds of characters the fans cheer for, characters the fans boo. You know, for the last couple of years since Cody came back, Don, basically immediately upon getting here, he became the tippy top guy of who fans cheer for. Okay, like I mean, I don't want to make Cody blush, but he jumped into basically that #1 spot almost immediately. And I'm curious, is there any version of your life where you would have stayed with WWE and eventually gotten that opportunity, or did it only come because you were willing to bet on yourself and come back?
You know, if you look at it from an Elseworlds perspective and maybe a mirror universe vibrating in, you know, a different frequency, perhaps. I never wanted to leave, and then when I did want to leave, it's because the place had broken my heart. I cared so much about it. You know, I really don't know. I do know that Stardust, specifically the character that I was portraying before I left, which was, you know, a space clown. It was painted face, and it was very I don't know how to, a lot of comedy. I did always put my heart and soul into it. But I do know that without that rock bottom period, I would have never had the low feeling that would bring me to that decision, and that would bring me to being so motivated when I left, to just be everywhere, every time, and every company, and before the Forbidden Door was even a thing, crossover on all platforms that I possibly could. So that's a great question. I often wonder had I stayed, but having not stayed, a lot of good was done, not just for me. I'm blessed to even be here, but the industry. I was able to do a couple things for the actual business that when you're a little 8-year-old kid who just wants to wear the belt around your waist and run around your underwear, you don't think about that. And I know me and Matt and Nick are very proud of that for our industry.
You said you left, and you look at the rivalry with AEW and WWF going back to the day. Now WWE it's always had some level of competition. How good is it to have rival alternatives? Is it good for the sport, and does it keep WWE on its toes? Having seen both sides of it, Cody, how good overall is it for the health of wrestling to have some other competition, some alternatives to WWE?
Well, I'll say the area is probably the most beneficial and the most helpful is in terms of there's only so many jobs for you to put your tights on and pull your boots up and be a professional wrestler and be an in-ring superstar. And the fact that there's opportunity now to be paid well outside of just WWE, it creates a healthier bodies, healthier minds, creates a better system amongst the locker rooms. The locker rooms are better off for there being alternatives and there being competition. But I will say, and this has been the case with WWE over the last 2 years, WWE has entered into a whole new stratosphere. I mean, really, we're still searching for a name for this era. It's a golden era. And the bottom line in dollars and cents, the black and white, is that the last time this happened was the Attitude Era in the late 90s with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and these just absolutely luminary, legendary personas. For us to be able to be breaking their records, there really isn't competition for WWE right now. And that's something I don't take for granted, and knock on wood, it stays that way, because this team is really moving forward. CM Punk just returned to WWE. Nick Khan and Triple H have taken what Vince created and built, and they've moved it, and the goalposts have continued to move. It's really a special time to be on the team. It seems like everybody wants to be with us, and I'm happy, as sweet Peter Rosenberg mentioned, the position I'm in. I'm blessed to be in that position.
And we're thrilled to have you back. Everybody was just tickled to find out you'd be walking through those doors again. And actually, if you want a chance to see WWE star Cody Rhodes and everybody else, including I mentioned CM Punk, Dirty Dom Mysterio, and so many more, MSG. December 26th. Right now, caller 15-888-987-ESPN. A pair of tickets to be in the building. And Cody, you told me yesterday you wanted to tell me what the match was, and there was something special you wanted to add to this match on the 26th at the Garden.
There was something special that I wanted to add to the match, and as of today, Adam Pearce and WWE, the top brass, the higher ups, have confirmed this is what's going to happen. Not only at the Madison Square Garden holiday tour the day after Christmas, not only will be I wrestling Shinsuke Nakamura, but it will be in a bull rope match, and that fills my heart up. It's not only a match that my family has perhaps made famous to a degree, but also it's the original bull rope that we've had amongst Dusty, Dustin, and myself. So looking forward to the holiday tour, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Cody Rhodes, first time ever bull rope match.
I interviewed Shawn Michaels last week, and he told me that for his money, Dom Mysterio was the MVP of WWE over the last year. I'm curious about that, what you think of that statement and what you think of Dom Mysterio.
Oh, well, that's loaded because Dom is a prickly individual. But if I was looking at it from tickets sold, merch sold, excitement over matches, just genuine body of work, I'd say your MVP is. I'm not gonna say myself. Somebody else hopefully will say me, but I'd say Seth Rollins, World Heavyweight Champion, is probably somebody who's more of an MVP. Who am I to go against what Shawn Michaels said, though? If Shawn Michaels sees something in Dominic Mysterio, that's huge, because he's not one that often will make that claim. Dom is as difficult as he is to get along with. He is incredibly linked to the audience. I have a feeling that if Dom Mysterio, he walks out now, if those of you who don't watch WWE, he walks out, he puts the mics to his lips, and you can't hear a word he's saying because they blew him out of the building. I have a sense that Dom will be getting that same reaction 2 or 3 years from now, but they won't be boos, they'll be cheers. There is something incredibly special about the young man, and I'm sorry that I've had to beat him so many times, but I look forward to what he does. He comes from good stock, obviously, and his future is perhaps brighter than anybody's.
How special is it to do all this at the Garden?
Garden is where it all started for my family. There's this whole, it's gotten way overblown now, theme we have on WWE programming, Finish the Story, and Finish the Story stems from a match in 1978 in Madison Square Garden where my dad went for the WWF title against superstar Billy Graham, and he won the match, but he did not win the title. And that was the one as a little kid I wanted to put in his hand and say, hey, you can't take it away from you now. That was my first goal, my first dream, and to be able to be in the same air. The Garden is an incredibly special experience for anybody, whether you're sitting in the seats or you're in the ring. There's just a level of adrenaline that pumps into your soul that perhaps other places don't have. I love MSG, and you got to remember, my father's roots were in Tampa, Florida, Little Yankee Stadium and spring training. And when he first got the call to go up to New York, I think he was perhaps a little trepidatious about how a New York market would take for this Texan boy. in this Tampa, this Tampa star, and the way they took to him has been something that I know it meant so much to him. Any match, my dad wrestled Ric Flair 1,000 times. He wrestled Harley Race, all these individuals, Terry Funk. But if you were to ask him what his favorites were, it's those 3 sold-out shows in the Garden. It's just a special place. You never forget your time in the Garden.
I got 2 more things for you, Cody. And again, Cody Rhodes and the rest of the WWE will be at MSG on December 26th. You just mentioned his name in passing when talking about your dad. When the great Terry Funk passed away a few months ago, you were tapped to come on SmackDown and talk about Terry Funk. How did that feel for you to have that honor, and what does it mean to you to sort of be, at this point, the kind of veteran that is incredibly popular with the kids today, but also has such a tie to the past of this business? It's an interesting and cool spot.
I think it's a great tightrope to walk. I really want to go further with the game. The speed of our industry is changing, the competitiveness of it, the just overall demand is just like any sport or any performance is being increased. But then to have, 1 foot in the past where you can take these things, we always say in our game, what's old is new. You can take things like anybody who's coming up in a wrestling school today, wants to be a wrestler, wants to be a WWE superstar. You could learn from just watching Terry Funk walk to the ring. Terry Funk, Dory Funk. I mean, truly, there's a lot of magic that can be used again, and it be your own wink to the past, I suppose. But to do that for Terry Funk on that SmackDown was incredibly special. And I often, when given that spot, I just got to recently introduce the tribute to the Truth show. I mean, Peter, you've been with the company. It's still surreal to me that it's my name next to those things. It's not. I'm not putting on any front about it. It's surreal to me. I try to thank everyone who I could possibly thank when I get those opportunities, because to be in that spot I was very lucky, and I'm hoping that some of these little kids who come to these shows and enjoy what I do, maybe they looked into Terry Funk that night and saw some of the magic that he offered to fans for so many years.
Don, I got to tell you something about Cody. Cody is one of those guys that's so nice that, you wonder, is he like this all the time? I'm just being honest with you, Cody. Like, you are. That is the kind of personality he has, and I'm not the only person who said this. That people go, does it ever stop? Is there ever a moment? Last time at Nassau Coliseum, you finished the show, and you sat around after the show and signed everything for every kid who waited and stayed there by the barricade.
That's amazing.
Is there ever a day when people can catch Cody Rhodes not in that sort of mood?
Well, I'd say never kids, because I'm a father now, and their enjoyment in what we do, they're the greatest fans, so that they're not going to catch me that way. But I can say I'm not as nice as you described, and if you put a little bourbon in me, perhaps, then it's a lot spicier of a situation. Remember, I've got all this equity within the industry, my families, my dads, my brothers, all this. So I also have a lot of opinions, and perhaps, some of them a little more bitter than others. But I know how lucky I am to be in the position I am right now, and I think I try to be the best version of me I can to honor the position I'm in.
Last one. We talked about a lot of names, and we talked about WWE. This is an incredible space that WWE is in. The level of talent, in my opinion, the quality of shows right now, just week to week on TV. The premium live events are amazing. And when you look at talent that's come in, CM Punk just arrived. Jade Cargill just arrived. And Cody Rhodes also is here, all in the last couple of years. The one name that is sort of out there that people say, maybe the last one that people go, oh, my God, we have to see this guy. I could argue there are a couple, but certainly none bigger than a fellow New Yorker, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Would you be interested? And do you think we will one day see MJF in WWE?
I think one day you will see MJF in WWE. I think one thing I'm really proud of him for those who don't know, MJF was one of my recruits and probably the one I'm the most excited about, just his potential, his personality, his overall professionalism, his being. But one thing I'm proud of him for doing is, if you notice, he's put on a lot of muscle and he's put it on safely over the last year and a half. And when he does make that jump, and I don't know when that is, if he makes the jump, but if he comes to WWE, you have to stand across from guys like Drew McIntyre. You have to stand across from guys like Omos, or gosh, Brock Lesnar. And again, I'm not shaming anyone who's not hitting the gym and playing and banging with the weights like The Rock would say, but it is part of what we do now. You got to be able to swing the bat with the big boys. And watching him grow physically, it seems like maybe he knows where his future lies. But really, your guess is as good as mine. I never bother him about it because I just want to remain the friends we've become today.
Well, don't worry. I bother him about it. Cody, we appreciate your time, and we're stoked to see you in that bull rope match at MSG on the 26th. Thank you, man.
Thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate it. And anything that has got connections to the New York Yankees, my sister, oh, my gosh. She was so excited when I was going to be on this thing. My God. Thank you guys.
Oh, really? Well, when you come to town, you and your sister, we'll make sure Michael K. and the Yes Network takes care of you. You kidding me? We got you.
So the Yes Network was on in my house consistently my entire childhood, and I was often thrown out of the room in playoff season because my sister and my dad, Yankees baseball was their thing, and I didn't get it. And yeah, so it's a big deal. I mean, my niece is named Maris after Roger Maris. It's a big deal in our family. So I was here.
Your dad is so funny to me. So he's like the ultimate. He's the son of a plumber. He's the most regular Southern man ever, right, Don?
Yes.
And the two teams I know of him loving are the Yankees and the Lakers.
So my dad liked winners. That's the best way to put it.
Sounds like it.
He liked winners, and he didn't want to be one of those people that shied away from winning franchises. If they're a winning franchise, they're doing something right. He didn't like the underdogs, which is wild because he's perhaps a large underdog in the industry, but he liked winners, and that's how he raised us.
I love it. I love it. Cody, thank you, buddy. I'll see you next
great,
week.
man.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, guys.
You too.
Take care. There he is, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.